Welcome, everybody. This is our very first Wisdom Well. This is like a dream that I've had for a long time, and my business partner and I, Sarah, have shared for like ever. And to have this being a real thing is extraordinary. This is our first of what we expect is going to be many Wisdom Wells, and this one is all about the fall equinox. The fall equinox happens in September. Well, it happens in September in the northern hemisphere. The spring equinox also happens in September, but we're talking about the fall equinox. And the equinox itself is uh it's a celestial event. It is a time of balance and preparing for what is coming. It is a time when we are beginning to shed the hustle and bustle of the summer and come deeper into what will be ultimately the invitation in the winter is to be introspective. So this time of transition is really important. It's about balance and harmony and gratitude for all of the abundance that we've received, as well as what is it that we're putting to bed? What are we no longer carrying with us? Now, especially as humanity is entering into its chrysalis, as we become the new human, this is a time for us to really take stock of what works and what doesn't, and what are we taking with us and what are we letting go of. That's the balance, the light and the shadow. So I have gathered the most amazing luminaries I can think of to share our wisdom with all of you around the fall equinox. And so sit back and enjoy this really fun ride. First up is my partner, Sarah.
Hello, everybody. I'm excited to be here. And as we talk about the fall equinox, my background, in addition to being Robin's partner in, we'll call it light, in the Light Keepers Collective, is I've been in healthcare in some way or another my whole career. So from the traditional allopathic kind of Western medicine healthcare to a more regenerative view. And now I would say even a more energetic and spiritual view of healthcare. So I've kind of run the whole gamut. So I wanted to talk today as we got into equinox season about light and your body, your physical body. So your body is your sacred consort. It is your sacred companion. It entered into existence with your soul. I would say it actually is held by your soul instead of vice versa. And it's always here for you. Just think, your heart beats 24,000 times a day without your instruction, without you even thinking about it. And your body carries all of this ancient wisdom and it responds to these seasonal signals and patterns. Um, and it's the first to register fear or to register joy or to sense what's coming. And so it deserves this partnership with it. And we often kind of put it aside. And if you think about if you were taking care of a child or a friend or a lover or a parent, and that person came to you and said, I'm thirsty. And you're like, I'll get to you. Just wait. Right. And then an hour later they come back and they say, no, I'm really still thirsty. And you're like, yeah, I don't have time, but when I do, I'll get you a drink. And then hours later, here they're like withering because you put off even those simple things of like, oh, here's a drink of water. And we do that in our bodies. So to start, I would love for you just to connect to this faithful companion. And so take a minute and just soften your stomach. When you soften your stomach, automatically you drop right in to your body. Let your shoulders drop. Notice your breathing. All of that is happening. It's happening for you. And now just spend a minute and ask your body, what do you need from me today? What are you asking of me this season? And so maybe you make just a little note, a mental note of going like, oh, and maybe that's something you start to do every day when you wake up. Now let's talk a little bit of light about light. And I will tell you that 10 years ago, I didn't think anything about light other than, can I see where I'm going? That was my whole thing about light. Like, is it light enough? Can I find my way? And um, this is kind of completely changed for me in a really cool way, in a way that my kids are like, oh my God, we're not talking about light again, are we? Because it bleeds into absolutely everything. But if you think about light, it is the conductor of your biological orchestra, right? It's the master synchronizer for all of life, for everything that goes on in our body. And so without light's daily signals, then all of those cellular clocks in our body fall out of sync, which creates utter chaos, right? Like if you can't see, think you're like bumping into each other, all sorts of things. I would argue that all the other health interventions that we do, whether it's, we're trying to lose weight or we're trying to exercise or all that stuff, those things are not nearly impactful if our light signaling isn't dialed and tuned in because we're coordinating all of those systems. Light directly programs your mitochondria, so it gives you this energy and it makes all of healing possible, essentially, in my view. Um, so let's let's go a little bit deeper into light. Light is information. And when you think of, I'm sitting outside, obviously, the light of the sun, there's this whole spectrum of frequencies, right? And just for today, we're going to talk about the um, infrared all the way down to the UV. So think the rainbow, right? We've all seen the prism. All seen all the colors. You've seen the Pink Floyd album, right? That's the visible spectrum of light. So we see that. Above that is the infrared, the near infrared light, and below that is what we've heard a lot of UV. It's underviolet light. Okay, so those are super important to the way that our body functions. And that prism, that spectrum of light changes as the day goes on. It changes from dawn all the way to sunset, creating signals. And those signals go into your clock gene. So if you don't have those signals dialed in and right, just think it's like the airport has all of these planes coming in, but nobody knows which way to go. And instead, you've got that central control tower saying, okay, the wind's coming this way, you come in, you land here, you do this. Now, one of the most important frequencies is blue light. So blue light is non-existent at dawn. And as sunrise starts, it starts to peak in, starts to peak in, starts to peak in. And it grows over time till it's at its very highest at solar noon. And then it goes down, 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 down. We have these little things called melanopsin receptors in the back of our eye. And those convey to our brain what time it is. And so that morning cascade of light sets off this beautiful cascade of things. So it's all of a sudden says to your pituitary gland, okay, fire up, make these things. Then the adrenal, then the thyroid. So you've heard of adrenal fatigue or sluggish thyroid. Light starts to help and to cure that. And unrelated, unregulated, you get metabolic instability, your energy is all over the place. And those mitochondria, those powerhouse of the cells, lose their voltage, they lose their energy. So our big problem today, and as we think about going into more of this dark, it's beautiful because that's the time of rest and repair. And at the same time, our modern lighting really doesn't set us up for success because the LED lights inside are all blue. So when you are inside all the time and think about it, 10 o'clock at night, it's telling your body, it's solar noon, go, 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 digest this food, muscles activate, all that stuff. And so again, think of that airport, everything's coming in, and you're like, oh, but I think I'm ready to go to sleep. And then you look at your phone, boom, you're back in solar noon. So you're chaotic. Um, and you're just kind of all over the place. So take a minute and think about your pattern, right? Are you somebody that's like, "Ooh, I've got all my lights on super bright all the way up until I'm going to go to bed." Right? And then, "Ooh, I wake up in the middle of the night and I check my phone to see what time it is." And then hopefully I fall back asleep. And then first thing I do in the morning is, "Ooh, what time is it and who texted me and, what's going on?" And your body is going, "Ooh, I can't do this." Instead of this think of like a metronome. It's going from sleep to which just makes us crazy and makes everything kind of function at, well, not function, I'm going to say. Um, and so as we think about it, if I can say anything to you in this kind of short window of what you can do as you go in, number one, sleep, 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 sleep in absolute dark, as dark as you can get it. Curtains, I love a good eye mask. If you can't, pull the covers up over you because your skin actually has sensors. Take out any like little lights in your room. Don't be looking at your phone. And then when you wake up in the morning, can you even just open the window, right? Open the window, get that beautiful cascade of sunlight where your body starts to go like, oh, okay, now's the time. Now I should be waking up for Sarah. And then I would really say in that first kind of hour after sunrise is when normally the UVA light starts to come in. If you can take a 20-minute walk outside during that UVA rise, that is when that whole cascade of hormones gets set up. So you're basically, you're kind of fortifying yourself for the rest of the day. Everything is set, it's in motion, it's going, it's working. And then you can get those little light snacks throughout the day and then rinse and repeat.
I love that. That's fascinating. And I think, as we're moving from this like dominance over nature kind of space to much more in harmony with, that's what part of the new human is all about. I imagine we'll be moving more towards a space where we are much more in that cyclical and light worshiping space, right? We'll naturally allow our rhythms to move back towards that space that we're naturally hardwired for. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And I think you feel better anytime you go outside, even for a short period of time. You feel better. And part of that is the light information, the light codes that are coming in to
Yeah.
your body. And we, I think, do a poor job of protecting it at night.
Yeah, I agree. Very cool. Thank you. Okay. Next up is Debbie.
Unmute myself. Hello, everybody. I'm Debbie Gordon. I'm background nurse practitioner and full spectrum energy medicine practitioner. I'm passionate about guiding individuals on their journey to personal growth and healing through a holistic approach that integrates my medical expertise, intuitive insights, and some compassionate guidance. I do this through personalized coaching, energy medicine sessions, and some community workshops with teaching. I create a safe space for self-exploration that empowers clients to awaken to their true selves. Today, I'm excited to share with you some heart map techniques and the concept of finding the balance within your heart space during this fall equinox. So, achieving harmony between our heart and our mind is essential for enhancing health and well-being. It's a balance we can embrace during this fall equinox and into the future, even after. The heart is often seen as the seat of the soul and the source of intuitive wisdom, while the brain is recognized more a role of logic and thinking. When the heart and brain are in sync, they create a state that is called coherence. This harmonious alignment facilitates a flow of energy that enhances emotional stability, your mental clarity, and an overall well-being. This heart coherence is achieved through practices like mindful meditation, deep breathing, breathing techniques, and other healing modalities. This helps balance the heart's emotional intelligence with the brain's cognitive functions. So the heart generates a very powerful electromagnetic field, which can influence the brain's electrical activity. It is actually the most powerful in the body. It produces approximately 60 times greater in amplitude than the brain. And it is believed it can extend very far from our bodies and is felt by others and is part of how we connect with the world and others as well. And by cultivating a balanced energy flow between the heart and brain, we can enhance our capacity for empathy, compassion, and connection as well. So the heart is often associated with knowing, a deeper sense of understanding, like an intuitive knowing that transcends any type of logical thinking. And by tuning into the heart's wisdom, individuals can access insights that guide them toward healing and personal growth. This connection encourages us to trust our feelings and inner guidance, leading to more authentic and fulfilling life choices. So by embracing the heart-brain connection allows the release also of blockages and old traumas that are held in our bodies and in the energy fields and in the cells. And this process is emotional healing and facilitates acknowledging and processing emotions through the heart's compassionate lens, leading to a much more balanced of harmonious state of being. So if you haven't heard of heart math, a lot of people have, but it is a scientifically validated system that focuses on harnessing the power of the heart's intelligence and to manage stress and enhance emotional resilience. The heart math practices focus on achieving emotional balance by aligning the heart and mind, achieving that coherence that I mentioned earlier. So heart math emphasizes building resilience as well, allowing us to adapt to changes with grace and ease, much like the natural transition from summer to fall that we're going through right now. And the heart math practices enhances the mind-body connection, promoting awareness and harmony within, which aligns with the introspective nature of the fall equinox that we're going into. So today, I'm just going to introduce you to two of the heart math techniques. And we're going to start with the heart focused breathing, which is the core technique of the heart math method. And it's basically just focusing and bringing awareness to your breathing. And you're going to be breathing at a much slower, deeper pace than you would on a normal basis. This practice helps shift the focus from the mind to the heart, promoting calmness and clarity. It helps to bring awareness to your breathing and gives increased awareness of our own capacity to self-regulate the nervous system and a lot of times get out of that spinning mind, the ego, the frustration, the stress out there, everything that we're dealing with that kind of gets you out of that mind space and into your heart space where you can really calm down and get at a peaceful state. So what we're going to do is I'm going to invite you, if you want, to go ahead and close your eyes if you're comfortable to do so. Otherwise, just have a soft gaze down at the floor so you're just not paying attention to everything that's busy and going around at you at this point. And I also invite you, if you're comfortable to do so, is to place your hand on your heart. If this is not comfortable for you at this time, you can also just leave your hands on your lap or wherever they're comfortable. But just place your hands on your heart. And I just want you to start becoming aware of your breathing. And take a nice deep breath in, expand the rib cage, expand the belly, expand the diaphragm, and then just let a natural exhale out through your nose. This next time, I want you to take a deep breath in, right into the heart space, your chest space, whatever's comfortable for you at this time. And as you take that deep breath in, you're going to bring in white light into that heart space, into your chest area, as you take that deep breath in. And then again, just natural release of the air through your nose. You're going to continue this focused heart breathing with the deep breaths in, bringing light in, warmth into your heart space, chest space, and just natural releasing of that air out your nose. As you continue bringing this light into your heart space, I want you to focus on what I call a a happy feeling. Bring in some happiness, some joy, some gratitude, some appreciation of something. Bring in someone you feel grateful for as you're breathing in that white light into your heart space. Bring in something that you're proud of. Bring in a feeling that helps you feel safe and good. You can bring in your pets, your children, your spouses, whatever brings in happiness and joy and lights your soul up. Or you could just bring in a feeling of calm and ease as you're continuing to take these slower, deeper, light-filled breaths into your heart space. And just be aware of your breathing and your feelings and how this feels for you right at this moment. And for now, I'll go ahead and have you come back. You can feel your feet on the ground, this cushion under your seat. Wiggle, open your eyes when you're ready. And I'll just end this portion with just a quote that I like. Your vision will become clear only when you look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. This quote encourages introspection and the waking of true purpose and clarity through heart-centered living. So thank you.
I can't believe how good that feels. And I do this for a living. That was fantastic. Thank you.
You are very welcome.
So how does one do just like what we just did? How often do we do this? How often, like, how do we incorporate this in our daily lives? Obviously, there's a million benefits, but how do we make that a practice?
Well, the first thing is you can do it anywhere. I had you close your eyes today. You don't have to close your eyes. You don't have to incorporate this specifically with the meditation every time. You could be out in a grocery store and just be overwhelmed, stressed, spinning, foggy mind, don't know what you're shopping for. And you can just stop for a minute and breathe into your heart. And just by getting yourself out of that headspace and focusing on the breath down here in your heart space, it will calm the brain. So you can do it anytime. You can do it driving, sitting in traffic. Obviously, don't close your eyes when you're in traffic. But so you can really incorporate those two that I just did anywhere. But for the fall equinox, you can use it to align your emotions and thoughts, fostering the sense of balance during this transition and reflective period during the fall equinox. You can set some heart-centered intentions for the coming months. Reflect on what you wish to harvest in your life, both emotionally and spiritually, and visualize these intentions with that coherent heart rhythm. Do the heart focused breathing, bring in that positive emotion, raise that vibration, and then set those intentions from there as well. You can spend time in nature. As Sarah was saying, get outside. I mean, with the light and everything, just like Sarah was just saying, it all kind of goes together. And you're out in nature, do those breathing, do those heart focused practices as you're walking somewhere or sitting outside. So it's really something you can do anywhere. You can do rituals, light a candle, something that symbolizes that balance between the light and dark right now, and engage in heart-centered practices. So it's something very easy that you can always have in your back pocket is the way I look at it.
Yeah. This really fantastic. And I think imagine just for a minute, like how, it got so much quieter just energetically. And now we all hold a really powerful high vibration. I mean, every one of us is, some of the highest people we know. And even still, us doing that all together, us all coming into coherence together, really brought things, it deepened everything. And so can you imagine if everybody did this or more people did this? Can you imagine again what kind of world we could live in if this was the norm? We get our light balanced, we get our heart balanced. Now we're unstoppable. Yeah.
And if we had more time, there's a whole nother of extending that light, what we just did out to others in the
Oh,
group. I mean, with us, we kind of naturally do it because we're together and we do
yeah.
that practice. But that's kind of the next step is taking that and expanding it out to others, to your family, to your loved ones, to the world, and bringing that light in and raising the vibration for all.
Oh
So
God.
that's kind of where
Yeah.
it goes. We kind of have limited time today.
Yeah, that's amazing. Oh, that's awesome. Do any of you have any other questions for Debbie, or is it we can move on? We're good. All right. Thank you, Debbie. That was really cool.
You're welcome.
All right. Moving right along. Janna.
Hello, hello, everyone. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. My name's Janna Weldum. I'm an energy medicine practitioner and an end-of-life doula, and I specialize in offering holistic support physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually for energetic needs of people going through beautiful and also challenging transitions. So it encompasses both life and death in my approach. And I really believe that if you live your best life, you can also die your best death. And we have examples of everybody here mentioned things of ways to tune into your body, to tune into your inner world, your soul, your spirit, to be able to live your life and go forward, really feeling full and whole. And so today, yeah, I'm talking about death and life, right? And the balance between. In the fall equinox, we have it starts to get darker and the leaves are dying off the tree and falling so that the tree can go inward and replenish, and the same happens within living life and also within your dying process. So I invite you to embark on a little thought-provoking journey today with me. It's funny, earlier Sarah mentioned something about airports and all of this, right? And I have also something in here about airports actually flying through life. But I invite you to contemplate the question, when you decided to land here on Earth, did you buy a one-way ticket or a round-trip ticket? Right? So many of us think we're coming in the birth and everybody's planning for births of babies and doing all of this, but really death is not talked about, and we don't, it's morbid, some people will say, or it's just not normalized to have the conversation around planning for that big event and buying your round trip ticket and packing your bags and, so to speak, anyway. So I just invite you to think about that thought. And we don't often do that. We don't often think about, oh, what is death going to look like for me? Or how am I going to go about this? Or how can I plan for this so I feel and my family feels prepared and having the knowledge, etc., to do so. So anyway, I just thought I would throw that out there for you all to think about, and just have a conversation with you about, everything is energy. We are energy. What we experience on Earth is energy, and our existence is energy, both here and on the other side, or universally, cosmically, in heaven, however you want to address that. So, life is inherently liminal, this state of transition, a constant state of transition. And we are always defined, or we can define our existence in a couple of different ways. But if we are in the flow and we are living in that space of the awareness of living our life to the fullest, practicing the things that each individual here today has expressed, getting out in nature, seeing the light, doing centering around your heart, meditation, all of those things, it's really important, and that helps us to take us into our death and be able to experience death in a different way. So I will say our body is really a phenomenal vehicle, right, of energy. And when we try to look at it that way, and when we experience the flow through our bodies of energy, when we're living in alignment with the truth of who we are in our soul, when we're living a heart-centered life, when we're coming at life in a calm, centered way, we have different experience than if we're constantly chaotic and we're not really grounding ourselves here and we're constantly running and doing for others and draining ourselves at all cost. So really to be able to focus inward and align and center ourselves in the here and now in our existence, so that our existence as we transition through life and transition into death, we can do the same and have that calm centered space. So I would say, blockages occur in our energy system when we aren't living a full life that way. And it first happens out here, and then we experience as a dis-ease or uneasy place in life. And then it manifests in our body as a disease. And that's when we start getting sick and having all these experiences that could possibly make our death a little bit more difficult, because we didn't pay attention to the dis-ease we had in life and get soul-centered and in alignment with the truth of who we are. I say to people all the time, for where you place your focus, that's what you shall see. And it's very true. We create our reality, we create our experience. And there's two umbrellas, if you will, love and fear. Where do you create from? From the fear space or from the love space? So focusing on the love space, focusing on the positive, bringing yourself into alignment with your heart, your soul, doing meditations, getting out in nature, having connection and community to gather in, all those things make a huge difference. So I just want to, in relation to that, with the where we place our focus, I want to take a quick second, and I don't want you to take your biggest thing right now, okay? Something little that you know that you want to shift, change, or see occur differently in your life. So just take a moment, and just like everyone else said, if you choose, you can close your eyes. Take a big inhale in. As we come into this life, we inhale through our nose. We expand our belly, our rib cage, our chest. Fully hold that. Exhale fully out. The last thing we do on this earth is breathe out our final breath. Just breathing in again, centering yourself with your body, with your heart. I want you to focus on that one thing that might need healing, changing, shifting in perspective. See it, feel it. And I want you at the center of that thing that you've thought of to see a light in the center. Place your focus on the light. Continue focusing and expanding the light within that situation. Allow the light to encompass it. As you inhale in, I want you to bring your hands to your heart. Bring the situation in its light to your heart. Hold it for a moment there. Exhale and let that light wash over and through you. When you're ready, gently open your eyes, come back into the space, and just notice what happened when you placed your focus on the light of a situation and how you felt. So, in conclusion, let's live consciously and embrace the duality of life, light and dark, and just live your very fullest, best life, so that in the end, when you do transition, you can live your best death as well. Thank you for your time.
Super, super, super powerful. Again, every single one of us has brought us into like a little bit deeper connection with our soul, with our heart, with our inner wisdom. And I love that you're both taking the stigma out of death and making it we're always in the process of dying. Whatever stage we're at, we're always in the process of dying. So how do we choose to be conscious in it? Instead of fearing it, right? So many people fear death. Yes.
Right. Yeah. I have a little coaster that says, oh goodness, it says, I'm at this really awkward phase in my life. I'm between being born and dying. I love my little coaster, right? It's true. I follow someone who says we are constantly in the process of dying through
Yeah.
living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and now as we're headed into the equinox, we're like nature is literally showing us how beautiful it can be to let go. That's a powerful experience that we can take note of, you know.
Absolutely.
Um, how, how did this isn't something you do like wake up Sunday suddenly and decide I'm going to be an end of life doula. How did that how did that happen for you? How does someone end up becoming a life transition person?
Um, you know, no, you don't wake up and say, I'm going to be this, right? It
I
does just
expect there's a lot of
happen.
people who haven't even heard of that. They're like, that is a thing? Like what? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hadn't heard of it. In my energy work, people would always call me and say, can you come and do your energy work thing with my mom, my dad, whoever, they're dying. And so I would go and hold that presence, hold that vibration, that energy, that frequency, so that they could make their journey. I didn't know that, right? And I'd be a calming presence for the family, etc. And that's what end of life doulas do. And there's a lot more involved in being an end of life doula, the logistics of things, the learning of the stages and phases of death and everything. But I used to be scared, haha, to death of the dying process of in where I grew up. We didn't have open casket. It wasn't until I moved back east that we had open casket, and I was at a funeral of this gentleman, and he had open casket, and I literally had to run out the room, and I got sick, and I knew it wasn't him. It didn't look like him, but what I noticed later or realized later, it's because I didn't see his soul within him. And that's what I knew of this man, not this body. I knew his soul. So I don't know. And then I just would do my energy work. And from a very young age, I knew, like when my grandpa died, I fell off my bike. I have the scar on my leg. When that happened, I have had many experiences of things like that before someone died, or seeing someone's soul, or getting a message, or whatever. So I just kind of started exploring that. And someone mentioned to me, oh, you should be an end of life doula. So I'm like, okay, what's that? And I kind of incorporate both things. I'm not just an end of life doula, and I'm not just an energy medicine practitioner. I bring it together in those situations. So yeah, it's been such a rewarding and fulfilling journey and experience. And there is no, I can't think of anything more beautiful than being present for someone, with someone and their family as they are transitioning out of this world. Even amongst, some of the tragic deaths, when they're dying and transitioning, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And it's such a gift to be a part of.
Agreed. Agreed. It's one of the most peaceful experiences I've ever, and I've had the benefit of watching several people actually transition out of this world, and the peace and like calm that comes over everything is profound.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. And last but not least, Patti Roberts.
Hi, I'm Patti Roberts, and that was really magnificent. Janet, everyone's been really amazing, and it seems like we have this common denominator of how can we find peace and balance with all these different techniques, and everybody has a different technique, but it's basically all the same. Um, my background is very varied. I'm in the like fall season of my cycle. So sometimes I think my emphasis is different, but I would say that when I was in energy medicine school, I got a message that I need to work in hospice. So that's what I did. And I have to say, it was probably the most joyous thing, besides having kids and stuff like that, I've ever done. I didn't find sadness. I didn't find, uh, any kind of real trauma when I worked at the hospice or went to people's homes. Um, and when I did energy work, I could feel their states of being. I could feel mine. I could feel um, my guidance for them to go someplace that has so much freedom. And I really loved it. I learned so much about um, these incredible states, even at the end, which led me to believe, okay, we have a certain amount of time in this body, in this planet. How do I stay balanced? How do I have the happiest life that I can have? And going through a lot of different teachers and experiences, um, if I did have an issue, usually the answer was, well, don't dwell in the past and don't propel yourself in the future because you're just going to get all caught up in all of these things. And it's just going to be upsetting for you. So, okay, what am I supposed to do? You're supposed to live in the moment. Live in the moment. Huh. What is that? Do you have the coordinates of the moment? I don't really know where the moment is. Um, so I started to sort of search around informally, and all the meditations that I did in energy medicine school, or all these different experiences that I had, I didn't really find something that I really felt the essence of who I was, and and that joy and everything. I didn't really feel that until one day I did a series of guided meditations from the master of the power of now, Eckhart Tolle. And they're called presence, and there are three different ones. And I tried the first one, and I focused on the energy in the interior of my body with my breathing, and I listened to his voice and the sound of the ocean. And I was like, oh my God, I've never been here before. I could feel me. There was no thought, there was no sensation, there was no ripple of anything except peace and joy and the ultimate balance. But I went, oh, this is who I am. This is who I feel like. This is it. And it was such a huge discovery for me. And then I realized that, just like a lot of you were saying, we all have this, right? This is built in. People don't, I started to realize that people don't get it, that this comes standard in this body and in this mind, that there is true joy and true happiness and true balance and peace and all these wonderful things. We are built for it. We are this. And we get caught up in all the other stuff of living now and the chaos and the predictions and the ups and the downs and getting bad news and getting great news and just going up and down. But as we go into these equinoxes, as we go into a whole different age, how do we stay in that place in us? Because as far as I'm concerned, we're the happiness that we've been seeking. It's already there. So all of the techniques that everybody, I'm going like this on the faces on top of my screen, all of us have contributed to that. And this was really awesome. This was great. Thank you.
Honestly, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Patty. Thank everybody, Jana, Debbie, Lauren, Sarah. Like I have these conversations with you all the time. Like this is our day to day. This is how we talk. This is who we are. And I have had this again, this long held vision, belief, desire to just give people the opportunity to both share in our conversations and also start having their own conversations like this. I do feel like this is what's coming. This is the new earth. This is the new way forward, is that it's not about like again, power over dominance, what things that happen to us, none of that actually kind of matters anymore. As we're in the chrysalis and we talk about, transitions and death is like the caterpillar has to die in order for the butterfly to be born. That's what we're doing. All of us on the planet right now in various stages, that's what we're doing. And so I just feel so strongly that conversations like these are the way we just go forward. What world do we want to live in? I want to live in the world populated with people who just have these powerful, rich, juicy conversations about what it means to truly be alive. Because holy cow, we get a body and it's awesome. And I want to slide in sideways coming into death is like, whoa, what a ride. I don't want to be prestige. I want to have stories to tell and wisdom to share and all of it. And so profound gratitude for all of you for sharing in this conversation with us. And like I said, it is the first of many. So thank you all for being here with us. Thank you for coming to play in my playground. And thanks to everybody who's watching. I would like to close, and this is a surprise. I didn't tell any of you that I was going to do this because it hit me during somebody's meditation. I would love for you to say one word or one couple of words, what this season represents for you. One word, a couple of words. And I know I'm putting you on the spot by doing this, but just to tie this up, to just put a bow on it, a word or a phrase that represents this fall season, particularly this fall season. I'm going to start with two, obviously, because I'm me. I have two words. Harmony and gratitude.
What's just coming to me is rebirth and new beginnings.
Mine is grace and love.
Yes.
Mine is love and potentiality.
I would say peace and regeneration.
Thank you all for being here. Stay tuned, more to come.